Hello, this is a game I like to share from Vegas. This is game 5 of 6 that I played, and this is the final day. So I've only lost one game so far. I'm 4 out of 5, tied for second in the section, and this is a big day. So, um, yeah, last video I kind of hinted at who I was going to be playing, and here you can see I'm playing 2511. So he kind of called it. His name's Eric. He's a streamer. Young guy, good guy, strong chess player. I mean, he's higher rated than me. So uh, here I had the white pieces. I kind of had an idea that he would prep for me. So I actually, during the breakfast before this game, I looked up his chess.com account, and he only had a handful of like blitz and bullet games that I could see, at least from my phone. I feel like I could have found more online. I don't know why. It's hard to look up on the chess.com app, so you'd have to use the browser, and maybe there's a difference there. But uh, I quickly gave up because it was hard to find games where he was playing with black against e4 on the mobile app or whatever. And I was just like, you know what? It doesn't matter what he plays. I'm just going to stick to my thing because, like, even if I could prepare, I'm not much to, like, change my lines around. So I stick to what I know. I was kind of hoping for a Sicilian because I had never played my Alpin yet. But then it quickly dawned on me that yeah, he's gonna play the French. So I mean, I didn't know that until he played the French, but once he did, it made a lot of sense because he is a longtime viewer of the Botez Live channel, and Alexandra herself loves the French defense, and I've played her many times on stream. And up until like just a few weeks ago, I've always played the French Exchange, which gives me so much heat in the Twitch chat. I mean, everyone makes fun of the French Exchange. It's like I can't play it anymore if I want anyone to respect me. So, yeah, I stuck with e4, and my opponent plays e6. So, yep, it's the French defense, and he goes d5, and I play the advance. So after the fact, when we went over this game, he told me he was ready for the French Exchange, and I'm glad I played the advance. But like I said, until a couple of weeks ago, I started playing the advanced French. So yeah, e5. So he goes c5, c3, and I know he's gonna go knight c6 and queen b6, and I should go like knight f3, and I don't know. So for whatever reason, I just decided I'm gonna go bishop e3, and I'm gonna go queen d2 to guard b2. And this is kind of awkward. Like, I just don't know a lot of theory, but black is definitely like happy uh, with this opening. And here he goes knight h6. So part of the reason with bishop e3 is to put pressure on c5. Typically, the knight likes to go to e7, and he told me he was worried about this pawn capture because the queen will go back, and maybe I'll play like f4. Yeah, so he goes here, and this is already my longest thought of the game, and I just took the knight. I don't know. I didn't think this was great for me, but I thought long term this cannot be good for him. Right now, it's kind of upsetting for me because, like, I I mean, upsetting maybe is a bit strong of a word because it's like, I mean, it's just a French defense, but I really had no idea what to do. Like, already bishop e3, queen d2 is like awkward, but I just take, he takes, and I follow this up with knight e2. So, yeah, probably again just knight f3, right? But to me, it was like the knight doesn't have much of a future here. I mean, it's staring at its own pawns. It's not going to go here. And if it does ever go here, well, it's not going here or here either. So to me, I thought like knight here to here was looking pretty good because then eventually knight f6. So call me crazy, but knight e2. Now, bishop e7 makes a lot of sense, and the idea is to just move the knight and play bishop here. Obviously, knight e2 is pretty bad because I'm blocking my own bishop, so I'm trying to maybe castle this way somehow, some way, some shape or form. But yeah, knight a5, just trying to come here, trying to come here. So I play b3, blocking the knight. But yeah, bishop here. And the idea is if I go to bishop g2 and try to castle, he will simply take the knight. If I take with the queen, I'm losing d4. If I take with the king, well, I can't castle. So I just move the knight here. And I thought to myself, takes. I'm going to go king g2 and we're chilling. So yeah, probably he shouldn't take here and just maintain this. It's kind of awkward. Bishop takes, queen takes, still can't really castle. But yeah, he takes and king takes f1, so pretty simple stuff. He trades here, takes, and now he goes here. For a while, I was really concerned about queen check and knight takes on b3, Forktown, taking advantage of this pin now that the queen's on the a file. So luckily I could block with the queen at that point and just trade down, and there's no knight takes b3 or anything like that. So yeah, he just develops the bishop with tempo, makes sense. And here I just block. I put myself in the pin because I figured I would have enough defense that he could not attack me enough times along here to really warrant not developing the knight, because to me, I really need to get this rook out of here and get this piece out of here. So I did that. He tries to develop even further on the knight, and rook c1's in time. And here he attacks the rook. So I thought this was a step in the wrong direction. I thought I started to like my position a lot better here because his knight or his bishop was much better on b4, just pinning the knight to my queen. But here it's just a one quick hit. Rook c2 solves that. And now his idea was here to b4 to try to trap the rook. But unfortunately for him, he's put himself into a pin. So he unpinned me, and now he pinned himself. So it's not pinned right now. I have to move the knight, but it's pretty easy to find the knight move. There's knight a4 hitting the queen, but also knight c to e2, which I liked a bit better. And that's what I ended up playing, just help support d4 a little bit. And knight a4 to me seemed a little sidelined. So the knight can no longer come here because he would drop his other rook. So he brings his bishop back. This was another really passive idea. Like bishop here was so good, then bishop here was not so good, and now the bishop's coming back here. So it's 3 moves of the bishop, and all the while I'm like helping myself develop. And yeah, I just put the stop to the bishop. Didn't want him to pin my knight or anything. I want to be able to play here and not deal with this move. So try to maintain both knights. Just play h4, get rid of any bishop g5 ideas. And here he goes king d7. So he's kind of already scrambling a little bit here. Definitely anticipating this knight coming in, the queen taking here, and he needs to connect rooks so that his knight's no longer pinned, and the king also helps defend a little bit. But yeah, just knight h5, and now this pawn's pretty difficult to defend actually. So he goes here, and I don't even take the pawn because I'm going after f7 now. So I go queen to f4. And here he goes rook lift, and I thought just for a few seconds, didn't put much deep thought into this one. I just take on f7 right away, which was not too great because I did not look at either of these lines. Knight takes e5 particularly. But yeah, this and this both attack the queen with the knight, but also unleash a discovery on the rook on c2. So I was thinking, well, you know, this rook's kind of loose because I take h7 and attack this, but the knight on e5 will defend the rook. So the idea is takes, or hold up. Yeah, takes. I would probably just take back right away. Or I would take here, something like that. And then they would take the free rook. I would take the knight or the pawn, depending on what I didn't do the move before. And now this rook is hanging. And it's actually hard to save this rook. So best for them at that point, I think, is rook takes on e2, and they hold some sort of position. But it's difficult. It's not so easy. And there's lines like queen here and like knight here defending this knight, and it's complicated. It's messy. But he should have done it. He really should have, and he didn't. He instead just plays rook to f8. So I just take here on for free. But yeah, it's a really interesting line if you guys wanted to go into it. I looked at this. Queen takes. And if this rook tries to save itself, which I don't see how it does, this second rook actually is hanging as well. So that's why rook takes here makes a lot of sense. But yeah, no matter where this rook goes, there's going to be like this knight fork. So like here, there's here still. There's also this. So yeah, that's why like take here, it's maybe not so easy. There's a lot of queen checks, and it's still hard to save the rook. So he didn't go for this. He didn't think this was good. I don't really blame him. But it's definitely the best try that he has. Rook takes e2 here. But yeah, like if I take this, then I get mated, so I have to deal with that. And another idea was like queen here, then just knight f4 should be really good for white. But yeah, like I said, he doesn't go for this. He goes for rook f8. So at this point, I just take here, attack this, and now he goes for this. Knight takes e5, but it's a little too late here. The idea is I can't take because I get mated, so that's not good. But instead, what I do have is knight f4, just blocking this rook, maintaining this attack. He's got one more attack on the queen, but simply queen h8 with the double threats. I don't really think this is threatening mate, but it's close enough to like be annoying about it. But also, if it wasn't a threat, I'm still threatening this as well as this. So you can't really stop all the threats. He just goes knight back to c6, and now I take this. And now bishop here attacks the queen. I go here attacking the rook. He goes here attacking the queen. But I have this nice knight f8 move. So these last two moves took me a while. There was this long line where I thought about taking this pawn. What was wrong about this? Oh, I also had this idea of taking here. So yeah, taking here, maybe like this falls or something, and there's a lot of pressure here. I don't know. Didn't really want to do that. There was this knight check idea, but then simply knight takes. So that's why I thought about rook takes knight first. If queen takes, that's a fork. And if bishop takes, I have queen takes. And this knight is conveniently there to cover any like back rank checks or anything. But there's also pawn takes, and if pawn takes, then I still thought about the knight check, but then there's no guarantee that the bishop will take. So I thought like king here, and then I was kind of like confused, like why did I just give up an exchange? So yeah, it took me a while. So here, I thought about like this knight check. I thought about what else was there? No, queen here attacking the bishop I thought of. And if rook takes knight saving the bishop, then I thought queen check forking the king and the rook. But then they have knight block defending the rook. But then I thought about h5, and then the bishop would fall again. But this was all very complicated and frankly unnecessary. Just the knight check is really good because no matter where the king goes, there's going to be a check on e6. And just, I'm going to be up a rook. So let's say king here or here. We have knight takes with the fork on the king and the rook. So that wins a lot of material for me. So that rules out these two squares. If the king goes here, there's queen takes. Even here or here, honestly, there's queen takes this pawn with check. And no matter where the king goes, if I take this pawn with check with the queen, there's going to be queen takes bishop defending the knight as well. Not that the knight's really under attack. But yeah, even if they like move towards the knight to attack it and they take the knight, I have queen takes with check, just restoring balance plus winning this pawn. And like I said, I'm up a rook. And at this point, Eric resigned. So I was a little nervous, not going to lie. If I lost to Eric, I don't know if I would have ever heard the end of it. and I don't know. It would be bad because yeah, Eric's a pretty common presence on the Botez Live channel, and obviously I'm a mod there, so it was nice to win this game, not have to deal with any ridicule or embarrassment. And yeah, Eric played a solid opening. He definitely had me out prepped. Like I didn't know what to do, which is a big wide opener. I should really know how to play some of these really common openings. But yeah, it feels nice to play well after that. So like I said, Eric had a couple questionable bishop moves like the a3, the e7, and really gave me an opportunity to get back into this game despite not being able to castle. And yeah, I thought after taking here with his pawn, maybe he should have castled queenside, but he opted for rook c8. And so yeah, his king never really had any good options, and um, that allowed me to take on f7, and he missed this kind of crazy idea with knight takes e5 until it was too late. But overall, solid game, and with this win, that moves me up to 5 out of 6. And I think there are only 2 people at this point that have a half point ahead of me at 5.5 out of 6. So again, I'm still tied for second. There's one last final game ahead of us, the 7th and final round, the 6th game that I played. So yeah, that's gonna be the last video of this series, and I'm gonna tell you guys how it went, and hope you guys enjoy it so far. So yeah, final one with all the updates, the scores, and like I said, that final game. So yeah, if I guarantee my place in second, then I'm guaranteed some prize money. So this is the first and ever time I've ever played for cash, basically. So it's a pretty big game coming up. But yeah, I'll see you guys there.